Hello my audiophile friends, and welcome back to another Generation Behind Hi-Fi video. As some of you guys know, I made a post in the community section of my YouTube channel saying that the videos were probably going to be few and far between for the next couple of months because work has been crazy busy. And I know a lot of you guys have been anxious to hear my thoughts on how the Cerwin-Vega LA365 sounds. So if you saw my previous video, which is the look inside video of this speaker, then you know I was already impressed with the construction quality of the cabinet, the drivers, and also the crossovers. So how do these speakers sound? Well, let me tell you. If you are interested in seeing how the LA365 is constructed, then check out my look inside video. In my look inside videos, I go over the cabinet construction, TS parameters of the drivers, and crossover design. I think a lot of people will be impressed by the build quality considering the price point that these speakers sell for. I know I am. I'll leave a link in the description. Before I tell you how these speakers sound, let me tell you what's included when you purchase a pair of Cerwin-Vega LA365 floor standing speakers. First, let me talk about the packaging because I think Cerwin-Vega did a good job here. The LA365 speakers are double boxed, which is nice to see. I'm a big fan of double boxing tower speakers because it provides an extra layer of protection during shipping. And if you were to ever sell the speakers, there is a high probability that they will survive a second trip to the new owner. They also include an owner's manual for the speakers, which is pretty basic. The owner's manual includes information on how to connect the speakers, technical specifications, and even a troubleshooting guide. Cerwin-Vega includes two mounting feet options for the LA365s. The first option is the rubber feet, which come pre-installed, and the second option are metal speaker spikes. The different mounting feet are easy to change and simply screw in on the bottom of the speakers. I thought this was pretty cool that Cerwin-Vega is giving their customers options like this. Not many do in this price category. And then the other thing that I found quite surprising is these speakers are $349 each, so they're extremely affordable. And a lot of the budget floor standing speakers that I've gotten my hands on, as far as grills, you know, they're basically just cheap, flimsy plastic grills, whereas the grills on these speakers are made from MDF and the mounting hardware is actually metal. So these are going to be pretty strong and sturdy grills. So nice job there, Cerwin-Vega. So I'm going to get these speakers connected and we'll put them through the test and I'll give you my listening impressions. I'm going to first set up the speakers in my first floor living room. The living room is part of an open floor plan design where the living room, dining room, and kitchen are all open to each other. I would consider this room to be large in size and it's between 850 and 900 square feet. The electronics in this room consist of Rotel separates. I'm using a Rotel RSP 1580 processor and a Rotel RMB 1575 Class D amplifier. The only speakers that will be playing during this test will be my Cerwin-Vega LA365s and the SVS SB3000 subwoofer. As for the processor configuration, the speakers will be configured as size small and the subwoofer will be cut over at 80 Hz. The movies I'll be using to test the speakers with will be War of the Worlds, Tenet, and Dune. I think these movies offer plenty of action and a variety of different dialogue from actors and actresses. I'm curious how these speakers handle dialogue without a center, so no center will be hooked up during this test. The first movie I popped in is War of the Worlds starring Tom Cruise. The first thing I noticed about the LA365 is their large soundstage that they were able to produce. I was impressed by this considering the slim form factor and affordability of these speakers. These speakers did a good job filling my large upstairs living room with sound and performed well no matter what movies I threw at them. Sometimes with these affordable speakers, trying to hear dialogue during movies can be challenging unless you have a dedicated center, but the LA365 had none of those problems. Dialogue from actors and actresses were clear, easy to understand, and were natural sounding. Even the small ambient sounds that I heard while watching movies had some nice depth and dimension to them. Basically what I'm getting at is the sounds I was hearing had some liveliness to them, which is pretty rare at this price point for a floor standing speaker. Another thing I like to do when testing out speakers during my movie watching sessions is to sit in a variety of seating locations to see how the off-axis performance is. And the LA365s didn't disappoint. It seemed no matter where I sat, the sound quality from an off-axis seating position was pretty good and did a pretty decent job of engulfing me in sound. If you plan on using these speakers strictly for movies, then you will definitely need a quality subwoofer to pair them with. You don't need to spend SVS SP3000 money, but I would recommend getting a quality subwoofer, especially if you have a large room to fill. Here's a quick sound demo of the LA365s using a couple of clips from my favorite movies. Again, the only speakers playing during this demo will be the LA365s and my SVS SP3000 subwoofer.
Chicago, uplink to London, even called affiliates to try to get them to catch the feed, but nobody answers. It's the same everywhere. Once the tripods start to move, no more news comes out of that area.
I was pretty impressed with the movie performance from these speakers, especially considering how affordable they are. If you're looking to build a decent home theater system on a budget, I don't think you could go wrong with a pair of LA365s as your left and right channels. Now let's see how these speakers perform in a music setting. During my music listening sessions, I'll be listening to the LA365s with the subwoofer turned off to see how they can perform in the bass department. This means my processor will have the front speaker set to size large and the subwoofer set to no. For my music listening sessions, I fired up my usual 70s, 80s, and 90s music to test these speakers out with, and I was quite impressed by the bass output considering these speakers only have two 6.5-inch bass drivers. One of the reasons I think the bass output is so good is because Cerwin-Vega is using high Q drivers in the LA365, which we found out in my look inside video. This means the bass alignment for the speakers has a hump in it before rolling off. Since this is the internet, I should probably clarify my statement regarding the bass output a bit more. I'm not saying the LA365 will knock pictures off the walls or shake the house. What I am saying is the LA365s delivered enough bass to satisfy my needs for the music that I like to listen to. To fill my upstairs living room with adequate bass is pretty impressive considering this room is between 850 and 900 square feet in size. However, for the bass heads out there, you might want to run a subwoofer for your music listening sessions, especially if you have a large room to fill. But if you're like me and are looking for a more natural sounding bass punch, then just having the two LA365s might be enough for you in terms of bass. Considering the price category that the LA365 sells in, I wasn't expecting it to wow me in the mid-range department, but they did. Obviously, these speakers won't have the fidelity or the dynamic range that are found in some of the much higher end speakers, but Cerwin-Vega does give its customers a taste of that with the LA365. Chorded music that I like to listen to was lively and full of presence. The voices from singers are smooth and natural sounding. Even during my loud listening sessions, the speakers were not harsh sounding or fatiguing to listen to. They maintained their composure and kept true to the brand's history. Another cool thing about these speakers is you don't need a big amplifier to drive them with. Here I'm powering them with a 20-year-old Harman Kardon AVR that is only rated for 55 watts per channel. The LA365s are very efficient speakers, and with only 55 watts going to them, they still sounded large, full of presence, and could still get loud when I needed them to. In my opinion, I was very impressed with the LA365's music performance, and think they offer great value for money. I grew up in the 90s, so everyone at the time knew about Cerwin-Vega. I even had a friend from high school who worked a summer job just so he could purchase a big pair of Cerwin-Vega speakers with 12-inch drivers in them for his bedroom. Right after he got them, I remember going over to his house and being in absolute awe over their size and loudness. Maybe you can relate, but back in those days, me and my friends only cared about how loud a speaker could go and how much bass it had. Thankfully, I have matured since then, and I'm sure my ears are thanking me. If you want to unleash the inner child in you, but don't have the room for a big, bulky pair of Cerwin-Vega party speakers, then the new LA365 might be a good compromise for you. The new Cerwin-Vega LA series of speakers is more polished and refined than the ones they used to make when I was a kid. In my opinion, the new LA365 speakers are plenty loud when you need them to be, while also providing good fidelity and dynamics. These are words that neither I nor my friends ever used to describe Cerwin-Vega speakers when we were young. I guess the best way I can put it is if those big box party speakers had a child, it would be the LA365. The only difference being is the LA365 went to the gym, lost weight, and received a bachelor's degree. In my opinion, Cerwin-Vega's new passive LA series of speakers offer some really good value for money. As some of you know, Cerwin-Vega had some trouble in the mid-2000s and sold off Cerwin-Vega Pro and Home Audio to Gibson. Now that Cerwin-Vega Mobile has purchased the Pro Audio and Home Audio divisions back from Gibson, they seem to be on the right track again. The new LA series is the first product launch from Cerwin-Vega, with all three brands being under the same roof. And if they continue to release quality and affordable products like the new LA series, then I think the future is bright over at Cerwin-Vega. I wished Cerwin-Vega well in their future endeavors, and I had a lot of fun reviewing these speakers. Playing with these speakers brought back some great memories from when I was a kid, and it was nice seeing Cerwin-Vega staying true to their roots and including some DNA from their past products into the new LA series. I hope this video gives you an idea of what to expect from the LA365. If you're reasonable with your expectations on what a speaker in this price point can deliver, then I think most will be very happy with the performance from these speakers. And that's my review of the Cerwin-Vega LA365 Tower speaker. So long, and happy listening.